Is this thing on? Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to Wednesday's exciting edition of the DCEU Daily. Batgirl. It's confused the fuck out of all of us, hasn't it? What's it all about? How can Michael Keaton's Batman be involved? Why is there a mural of Michael Keaton's Batman and Robin together? Who's playing Robin? Is he Nightwing? Is he Robin? What's going on? Right? How is J.K. Simmons, Commissioner Gordon there? Right? And how can we have a Commissioner Gordon that's literally younger than the Batman? So it's all very confusing, isn't it? Well, I'm going to try and make things a little bit more clearer to you on Wednesday's edition of the DCEU Daily right now. First, we're going to read a couple of quotes from J.K. Simmons himself. A lot of this is said before, but there's a couple of other interesting little things he hasn't. It's much more than I got to do in my brief stint as Commissioner Gordon in Zack Snyder's film. And really it was fun because it was a completely different side of Commissioner Gordon. Oh, right? Did you get it? It was a different side of Commissioner Gordon. Get it? Right. All that we saw in the little snippets of Zack Snyder's Justice League in either the original or in Zack's brilliant expanded cut, it was just Commissioner Gordon being businesslike and needing Batman's help. In this film, I think I'm allowed to say, since it does center on Batgirl, we see much more of Commissioner Gordon at home. So that's the first quote. So very interesting stuff. A different side to Commissioner Gordon. I wonder what he could be talking about. Because on today's video, I'm going to clear up lots of misconceptions about this film. So in this quote, he's being like the real actor. He's saying, they just tell me to stay here and do this. And I do it. I don't really understand the multiverse thing. Let me read to you what he had to say. This is J.K. Simmons again. It's super cool to be, and for there to be room in the Marvel universe, as we've seen, and in the DC universe for these alternative universes, or realities, or whatever they are. Let me say that again, because this is the key element to what I'm going to tell you. So, it's super cool to be, and for there to be room in the Marvel universe, as we've seen, and in the DC universe for these alternative universes or realities. Alternative universes or realities. That gives the game away, doesn't it? Very exciting. I don't know. I have no idea. They write a script and I learn the lines and the director says, stand over there. So some great stuff by J.K. Simmons, and J.K. Simmons is always great quality and very direct as he was there. But he did give a little game away. Because to me, and let's play What If, right? Not the animated show on Disney Plus for the MCU, but let's play DCEU's version of What If. What if the Batgirl movie isn't set in the DCEU? What if it's set on an alternate timeline? A very old-fashioned phrase, actually. Let's do it properly so nobody kind of misunderstands. What if the Batgirl movie is actually set on a different Earth? And is this different Earth where the entirety of the DCEU will be, or is it kind of where this story is going to be? What if after the Flashpoint movie, Michael Keaton doesn't suddenly appear in DCEU Earth 1? What if he stays where he is, or he goes back to his Burton Earth as it was before Barry enacted Flashpoint? What if Batgirl is actually set in the Burtonverse and not in the DCEU? And this movie is just a self-contained movie set in the Burtonverse. And what if Michael Keaton isn't actually going to be the DCEU's new Batman? Because nobody officially has ever said that. It's been assumed. Grace Randolph has said that. Many people have kind of scooped that, and even like sites like the Hollywood Reporter. But I'm starting to believe this is not true. And of course, things are changing all the time. The flash delay still hovers over us, and we're still asking questions about that. But let's be positive, because I know that I would prefer that the Batgirl movie is actually set in the Burtonverse, and it's nothing to do with the DCEU. This would calm everyone the fuck down. It would make sense why Ezra Miller was scoffing at the journalist who said that the Flash movie would be Batfleck's final movie. It's all starting to make sense. Just last week, Grace Randolph said that Batfleck's not going to die in the Flash movie. So what if after Flashpoint, Batfleck's still Batman? It continues. We get the Batfleck movie. I know some of you are going to go, never going to happen. But let's have a glass half full instead of a glass half empty. So that's what I'm saying today. Listen, J.K. Simmons said it there without even knowing he was saying it. It's great that we're able to do stories in alternative Earths. Think about that for a minute. This isn't even the OG Jim Gordon from the Justice League, right? He says it here. Look. And in the DC universe, for these alternative universes or realities or whatever they are, he says it, alternative universes. That's it, everyone. This is the key element we've been talking about, because they've set a second villain for this movie whose name escapes me, but it's all very exciting. Brendan Fraser's going to be in this movie, right? This sounds like a really good DC movie, but it's not a DCEU movie. And I mean, as we get closer to next year and Blue Beetle, we will find out if, in fact, the Blue Beetle movie is also set in the DCEU. What if the Flash movie doesn't unify the multiverse, but divides it up, as it should be, right? Maybe it's the opposite of what we were told. And maybe they can do self-contained movies on these different Earths. I don't know. I mean, as far as we know, right, Flashpoint is going to unify everything. Very exciting. But it also gives you the opportunity for other Elseworld stories, because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. I mean, Andy's kind of, if Andy's still the Flash director, and as far as we know he is, what he's been saying is that Flashpoint is going to unify every Earth together and literally make it one Earth. Now, that's very exciting. So, you somehow could do this. But even if the world, if the multiverse becomes one world, is it still divided somehow? So it may be on the same world, but other worlds who are on the same world, it's confusing, isn't it? Can't get there. Listen, I don't know what they're planning. But going back to this, I mean, the man said it. Alternative universes, alternative Earths. He's not talking about Flashpoint. He's pretty much saying this movie is set on an alternate Earth, another Earth. So is it even the Burton Earth? Or because of after Flashpoint, now there's a different Earth that Burton's on. Sorry. Well, yeah, Tim Burton's Earth. It could be different now, but it might not even be Burton's Earth. This Michael Keaton Batman might not even be the OG Tim Burton Michael Keaton Batman. We simply don't know. But I think we can surmise from this that the Batgirl movie is not set in the DCEU Earth 1, the movie that had Man of Steel and BVS and the first Suicide Squad and the second Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman. No. The Batgirl movie, as far as I'm concerned now, after reading these two quotes from J.K. Simmons, but expressly that about different realities and universes, right? This film is not set in the DCEU. And for weeks and months now, we thought that it was. So this is actually a groundbreaking video. This is a very important thing that I've dug up for you. and for me, because I'm as passionate as you are. Make no mistake about that. I'm not sitting here today making money out of this video. I'm never going to make money out of this channel. I mean, look at the state of the camera. Look at the state of me. But for me, this is brilliant. And this is a key element now of why this film can actually exist before the Flashpoint movie. Now, Flashpoint could actually set this world up and make it a possibility, but, you know, you don't have to make everyone wait till 2023. Now, to be clear, we had Michael Uslan as someone who produces all the Batman and Batman family films, right, who said in a message or something we saw online that first it would be the Flash movie in November with Michael Keaton, then we'd see him again in Batgirl in December, I think it was. I always had the impression that Batgirl was set at Christmas time anyway, as Hawkeye was last year in the MCU. But because Michael Uslan was saying this when the Flash movie was actually being released in November, clearly things could have easily changed for Batgirl too. Now, I said yesterday and the day before, I think that they were always going to separate these movies to 2 years and delay the Flash. But I'm going to go back on what I said, because I can't stop thinking about this 2022 We Need Heroes trailer. You wouldn't release that a week earlier, then delay these films if something hadn't changed. And the issue isn't with Aquaman. The issue isn't with Shazam. The issue is with the Flash movie, because that's the one that's had the longest delay. And once you delay that, you need to put something in its place. Now, luckily for them, they had 5 movies scheduled for this year, including Batgirl. They had Blue Beetle and Shazam Fury of the Gods scheduled for next year, so they could change things around. So there's something going on with the Flash. The Flash movie may not be problematic in itself. It may be a great movie, right? I think something's changed within the company. It could be Discovery, it could be anything. Something's going on. Now, I'm looking into what that something is for you guys and for myself as a fan, of course, all the time. Now, I've got people in the inside looking into this for me. And very soon, I will have information for you. Now, I don't know if it's today, tomorrow, next week. Don't kind of say to me, hang on, where's this information? I will get you this information. I assure you of that, as I'm sitting here in my kitchen right now with my voice echoing with this terrible microphone. It doesn't matter about the quality of my equipment. I am connected. I do have connections. Ignore my subs. Ignore my video views. I don't have to be a well-known person or a popular social media analyst to know things. And the longer you know me, and the more you hear me say, and the more you know that you say, oh my God, he was right there. How many times have you thought to yourself without telling me, oh my God, he was right there. Oh my God, this fucker's right again. But how is he doing this? Nobody watches his videos. People can be connected without being popular or overly famous. I do write and direct and star in my own plays here in Cyprus. I'm a little bit known here in Cyprus, but I'm not famous throughout the globe. I wasn't famous in Hollywood while I was there for 6 months, but I made friends, important friends. So I'm trying to get you that information. But for me, this is a huge revelation. And I mean, as I say, about 30% is a hunch from me that this is set in another universe. But when someone says that, that takes me over the line. That it's great to do films in different universes and realities or whatever it is, right? Or whatever it is, because he doesn't get it, right? He's an old actor just doing a role, right? He's not into it. I never used to be into cutting ham off the bone behind the fucking deli counter. It's okay. Don't hold it against him, right? But this is exciting now, because that means Batgirl could still release this year. I think what's even more vital now is that they take it off HBO Max and they release it in theatres. I think that is very important, because this is a huge movie. If we talk about the importance of representing female superheroes and representing women and minorities the right way, they made the right decision with Blue Beetle. And it's not just about representation, it's film in general. I think the huge films have to stay in movie theatres. Now, of course, if they can, when Discovery comes in, and because Discovery Plus can be viewed all over the world, maybe HBO Max straight away, because of that, and because it's going to be combined with Discovery Plus, will be able to be seen by all of us. Then please do. But you can't be releasing movies like Blue Beetle and Batgirl on HBO Max when only a quarter, not even a quarter, of people around the world, a quarter of DC fans, can see this content. It's not right. It's not fair. It's not good business. It makes you a quick profit, yes. But it's not a good reputation with your audience. And so that's what I think, everyone. I think that Batgirl is set on another Earth. Now let's talk about Jim Gordon. Who is this Jim Gordon? As I've said earlier, I don't think this is the OG Jim Gordon, not on your Nelly. So is he? Now, if this is Burton's real Earth, we know that there was it Pat Hingle who used to play Commissioner Jim Gordon in the Burtonverse, and in the Batman Forever movies and Batman and Robin. I think that's the actor. I don't think he's with us anymore, unfortunately. So very good actor. Not my favourite version of live action Jim Gordon, but he was cool, right? So he was the Jim Gordon in that universe. Now, if we are in the OG Burtonverse, they would have to come up with some kind of contrived situation. And maybe this Jim Gordon is, I don't know, a brother, maybe a son, maybe the original Jim Gordon's son, but I don't think enough years have passed to make that a thing, so I don't know. And apparently, there's going to be flashbacks to when, J.K. Simmons, now this is an interesting one, when J.K. Simmons, Jim Gordon, was young, and when Keaton's Batman was young. They're doing a flashback of them younger. That would say that they've got a history. That would say that the Batgirl, or this version of Michael Keaton's Batman, is not the OG Burtonverse Batman, but an Elseworld. Part of the multiverse, on another Earth. This is not Burton's verse. This is not Tim Burton's Michael Keaton's Batman. And we've already seen the defined differences in the costume. So, he's an anomaly Batman, it looks like. And for them to do flashbacks to when J.K. Simmons' Jim Gordon and Michael Keaton's Batman are young, well, in that case, you would have to say it would be Pat Hingle's Jim Gordon, but it's not. It's J.K. Simmons. So this is an Elseworld. This is an Elseworld. This is a Batgirl from another Earth. And this Jim Gordon, who J.K. is playing this time, is not from the central DCEU. He's an Elseworld character. Now, I'm sure that some of you, as people do, will not believe what I'm saying to you, but I think this is going to become abundantly clear. Now, where do I think this film will be released? When? It's difficult to say because they're still making the movie. They've been making the movie for a very long time now. I think we could be, is it 3 or 4 months now? So they've been doing this for a long time. I don't expect to hear anything about the release of this movie until they finish up, because then they'll probably know how long they need to take on post. The reality is this film will probably turn up next year now. When? I don't know. But we could have a little surprise. But let me mark my words again, that this Batgirl movie is set on a different Earth. But what Earth is it? The DCEU is Earth 1, as far as we know. Now, in terms of the multiverse and the other worlds and the other Earths, we don't know where it lies. But right here and now, I'm calling the DCEU Earth 1, the Reeveverse Earth 2. So now we're looking at a brand new Earth 3, probably created because of Flashpoint, and when Barry fixes Flashpoint, it creates this anomaly of a well. So all this time, I and you thought that somehow Michael Keaton would be this DCEU Batman, that he would be replacing Batfleck. But the more I think about it, and reading J.K. Simmons' quotes, that's not the case at all. He's not going to be the new DCEU Batman. Oh no. He's another Batman on an anomaly Earth with his version of Batgirl. and his version of Jim Gordon. And I think this is the best idea because it gives us hope that Batfleck is going to survive Flashpoint. This has been Movies TV Mad. This has been the DCEU Daily with your host Mick, the host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And I'll see you again later on. Until then, until we meet again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. Until I see you again, goodbye.